And while she's coming in, you guys can give her hearts, and she's going to unmute, and she's here. Uh, Judge Penny, how are you?
How are you, my dear friend?
I am so glad to see you. I'm so glad to see you. I usually would introduce people first and then bring them in, but this is such a significant time for us with such good friends. I haven't seen you in a while, so I just want you to sit in this introduction and know what your friend knows about you. I know the rest of the world knows you as this Emmy-nominated TV star, TV host. They know you as a professor. They know you as a scholar in residence at the Apex Museum. They know you as a co-pastor. They know you as a mother, a mentor, the founder of several foundations and organizations. I think it was CNN that says that you are one of the greatest intellectuals of our time. You are a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a sister, and a mentor and an author. You are absolutely amazing. She holds a bachelor's, a master's, a doctorate in law. She's working on another doctorate. This is my friend. She sat on, I think it was state court, you were on as a judge for maybe 8 years.
Yes.
That's right?
Yes.
Maybe 8 years so you all know, listen, she's a real judge. This is not fiction. Penny in front of her name. It's not just about on the show Family Court with Judge Penny. Listen, I might even show a snippet from that tonight so you all get a chance to see what the world has seen about her. But an absolutely amazing person. And with all that, all of that, what I know about her is that all of that pales in comparison when I say that she's also a child of God, that she's a child of God. And despite all of who she is and all of her accolades, she's a warm, humble, very sweet, very kind person. My friend Penny, I am so glad. I am honored, and as busy as you stay, I am honored to have you on the show with me tonight as my guest co-host. Not just a guest, but a guest co-host. So you all do me a favor. She's going to chat in just a minute, but show her, keep the hearts going, the thumbs up, the love, and all that kind of stuff. And Penny, I have to tell you this, my friend. My mother is on, and she asks about you all the time. So Mama, there's Penny.
How are you? I asked about you before I even said hello to him. I said, how is your mother? I never speak to him without asking about you. Is that not right, Gregory? Never.
I don't think you get hello out. You go, how is your mother? Oh,
how's your mother? Because when I say how well raised and how well mannered, and we were in law school together, and I was just saying to one of his producers, I said, you ever go to law school with somebody, all of us had our dreams, and there he is, fully suited, Mr. GQ, wasn't bothered, always cool, didn't get caught up in any of it. Everything that you see that he is what he turned out to be. Every dream that he wanted came true. I mean, he gave my bio, but let me say this, and all of you already know this. When you meet somebody, and he was that cool brother, and he had friends on both sides. You know, we only, out of 220, I think there were 12 of us in our law school class. But Gregory had a way about him, and now I know him being a man of God, but he had a way about him where everybody gravitated towards him. He never said anything bad about anybody. If he did his little shade, it was on a little truth shade kind of thing, but he was never caught up in anything, always smiling, always encouraging. And really, the way he was when he was a law student is the way that he is now. And really, he owes that to his mom. That's why I have to always ask about her, because you can tell the walk of a man based on his relationship with his mother. And my son emulated him, and he would take time out with him and teach him about how to dress at the time when we were in law school. So I'm indebted to him. I'm so excited to be here and to think how successful this platform is. And then you do it twice a week. I mean,
twice a week, every Tuesday, Thursday at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
Phenomenal. So it's my privilege to be here tonight, and hi everybody, and I'm looking forward to having some wonderful conversation.
And we will. And you also, and Penny, by the way, one of our classmates, Sonia Bailey, is on. So she joined us. So for all three of us, tomorrow is the 26th anniversary of the night that we got hooded in law school.
Wow.
26th anniversary. So happy anniversary to all of us.
Yeah, happy anniversary. Hi, Sonia. I love you some Sonia now. Sonia goes to the church with her family, right? And Sonia knows how to worship the Lord. You hear me? So oh yeah, and she doesn't play either. She's tough as a lawyer, but I mean, she loves the Lord. It's amazing how our friendship has all been that thread, has always been the power and the anointing of the Holy Spirit. Because I think we knew that no matter how many credentials we have or our titles or degrees, that we would be nothing without God. And so I think that's the common bond between all of us. So hi, Sonia. So good to have you with us tonight.
Penny, I want to do something, my friend. I know that we're going to get into the dialogue, but I want to share a story with the audience. We chatted about it a little earlier, but I want to share a story with the audience. We are here, by the way, we're reading and reviewing. Thank you all this and happy anniversary. We're reading from We Don't Always Get It Right the First Time. As you know, Penny, because you know the background for the story, I wrote one book and we've reviewed that. Here we are reviewing this one. I wrote this book and I dedicated it to one of my aunts. She died at the age of 70 years old. And I made sure I intentionally included 70 lessons in here. As she died, I just reflected on just life in general, not necessarily her life only, but life in general and the things that I wanted to make sure that I shared with the next generation. So that is how that particular book was birthed. And it's available. I think one of the producers will put it out there. It's available on www.gbcutler.com. But the genesis of my writing, you all, I have to share this with you. The genesis of my writing, my formal writing, when we were in law school, we held different offices, and Penny was on the Judge Penny. And so, you know, my friend, whenever I say Penny, it's no disrespect, but I want you all to know, the world. I get the privilege of calling her Penny. You all don't. and maybe next year I'm going to be calling her Reverend Doctor.
You don't always call me Penny. You hear me? We're like brother and sister, so I don't want to have it. No, we're good.
Right. But when we were getting ready for graduation, Penny was on the graduation committee, and she asked me one day, Gregory, she'd heard some of my poems and she knew that I wrote poetry. And she asked me if I would write a poem. So she was the very first person to ask me to write a poem for a formal occasion. And it was my pleasure. I read that poem. She sang and I read the poem, but she was the very first person to ever commission me to do something in a formal way. So Penny, I want to read that poem this evening.
Excellent.
Yeah, I want to read that poem this evening. And it is called A Little Hope for a Lot of Time. Now, written in 1994. I reread it today for the first time in a while, but it's called A Little Hope for a Lot of Time. If there be any reason in the thing that you do, then do it. If there be any glory in the thing that you choose, then choose it. And if there be any hope in the day that you see, capture it and seize it, live in it, love within it, because tomorrow will come and you will ask, how is it that I now stand here on this dawn of a new day when so many others have come this way? I so clearly remember yesterday. Yesterday when I woke up, the rains were beating at my window pane. I saw no life in the moment. The elders were gathering. There was comedy and tragedy, a funeral procession, a little girl standing still. But I heard music and I looked beyond the horizon to see purple and gold and black and white, red and blue, and I had hope because of you. Then someone shouted and the wind began to rage, and someone screamed and the blood poured over my feet. Someone cried for peace. The books were opened. to a page where we find ourselves in this hour, in this puzzling, perplexing, profound, and powerful hour, this moment, this iconic, intense moment, asking who, what, when, where, why, and how can I change tomorrow, because it will come. And in it, there will I find you, you, my mother and my brother, you, my father and my sister, my wife and husband, my friend and lover, son and daughter, grand and even great. You, the center of my joy, the lifter of my head. You who have given me reason, glory, and hope for today, have also given me strength for tomorrow, because it will come. Happy anniversary, my friend, and to all of my classmates. I wrote that, Penny, because you asked me. Thank you so much.
And think about how timeless it is, particularly with everything that we're going through right now. I know that today in Atlanta at Ebenezer Baptist Church, where I was, I'm a daughter of Ebenezer. I preached my first sermon at Ebenezer. Yes. And Rayshard Brooks, the young man who was shot in the back by a police officer here in Atlanta, he was funeralized today. And so as I'm listening to the words and everything that's going on in the world now, think about how timeless that poem was. Here you are, used to carry this notebook around with you. And here we would read maybe 90 pages a night just in one subject. I mean, law school is just incredible in terms of the amount of work. But this young Black man you would escape in your own creativity. And that was amazing to me, because I'm thinking, how did he have time to write and create when we're trying to read and do outlines and do all of this? And to think that 26 years, a quarter of a century later, here you go, and it's so timeless. Because you think of that little girl who was in the funeral for her daddy today. And then everything that you said is going on. So thank you for that. That is just, wow. That's the amazement of God. That's prophetic in so many ways. But thank you for that. And I know the audience, I know you all have to feel the same way, because I'm just astonished. I'm just astonished. So thank you. And I was president of the Student Bar Association back then. So that's why I had my hands in everything. And I definitely, because I've always been a person that I don't think platforms are just for us. I think that if you are a secure person, then you don't have a problem bringing somebody else along. That's not how it is most times. People try to keep everything to themselves. But I think Sonia will testify to that too. I've always been a person that wanted to bring everybody else along, especially when I'm impressed. And you're such an impressive cat. Because you've always been deep. That's a deep poem. I mean, really, that speaks to the ages. So thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Well, I tell you what I want to do. I want to get into the book and let them see Gregory and Penny chit-chatting, and they can ask that question. Penny, the first lesson that's in the book, it says, don't post your entire life story and idle thoughts on social media. So I'll read it, and then we'll have a dialogue about it. But as I often say, the author says, you don't have to post every random thought on social media websites. No matter how prolific or profound it might seem, no one needs or wants to read about all of your life's events online. I can only assume that the rebuttal to this lesson is, well, you don't have to read the post. That's true, but the objective of this lesson is to encourage you to filter and be selective about what you share in a public forum. Guard yourself against potential stalkers by guarding how much information you post online. And within the context of social media, if someone unfriends you, or if they don't accept your friend request or reject your online invitation, that's their prerogative. Don't become an online stalker. Penny, right out of the gate, I want to ask you, this whole notion of social media, were you an instant person to gravitate to social media, or did it take you a while? Tell me about your story, my friend.
Absolutely not. I'm super private. I am probably the most private person. I am actually an introvert. People don't know that about me. And so going on social media, when I was on Family Court with Judge Penny was a different kind of court show that I came up with. I actually owned the show. Barbara Walters, Oprah Winfrey, and myself were the only women that actually owned our own show. And if anybody ever watched it, it was a different kind of message. So, I mean, I had gone up to over 1 million people. And the minute I walked away from that, I let all of that go. I went silent. And it took me a while to get back involved with it because I'm so private.
But Penny, you do so much. I mean, from the foundation to the show to pastoring to authoring to, and I know I'm talking to myself, but a professor in front of, you're always in front of people.
I understand, but I'm an introvert. I have very few friends. And when I talk to them, we're on the phone. Like you and I could talk. We could talk another 10, 15 years from now, and we'll pick up like it was yesterday.
Absolutely.
I've always been a very, very private person with those things that are private. And so to me, it was the most bizarre thing in the world. When people take pictures of their food and people would tell people where they were going. And I was like, huh? Why are they doing this? Is not their real friends. Don't they understand? Because I know.
You know somebody's going to break in your house. Why are you telling the world where you're going? Why? Don't tell people where you're going.
And for me, I thought what we moved into with social media. So now obviously I've gravitated to it because I learned something in Hollywood. I used to take my show in Hollywood. Perception is reality.
Yeah.
And so it almost gave us an opportunity, social media did, to almost project what we wanted the world to see.
Yes. As
opposed to just being our true self. And so that's why when people would say to me, oh, I want that life that you have. And I'm saying to myself, girl, I'm showing you the parts I want you to see. Don't you understand? That's what this is all about. It's about imagery. And for those of us who are in business or, we want to use our platform for the common good or something God might want us to have. So no, I did not gravitate it. I do it now, obviously out of necessity because we're having to be in. But other than that, no, I'm not. No.
But Penny, you said something. Isn't it interesting, though, that people will develop an affinity or a hatred for just a persona that they see online? You don't know my whole story. So either you love or hate the fraction of me that you see. How are you going to love me when you don't even know the whole me? How are you going to hate me when you don't even know the whole me? I could go into, how are you going to hate me when you just only know a certain portion of me? But that's the climate where we are now. But how? It's only what I portray on this social media.
Yeah, I think that they get it confused. Like, I never take it personal. I always say, don't take it personal if you don't know me personally. I don't know people personally. So what I've learned is I think that people had it all messed up. Once we got into a situation where we could use these phones, and there are apps on the phones that if I wanted to be skinnier or I wanted to look a different way, it became something different. And we looked after, there was something that happened about 10, 15 years ago. And rather than Gregory, remember when we were in school, individuality was everything.
Everything.
Now, the way that transition happened with social media is everybody is trying to be in a category. So you want to be in the Kardashian category, small waist, big rump, you understand, big long hair. Then you want to be down with the sisterhood. So you'll have the afro and the natural hair. Then you want to be, it was always, rather than when I'm older than you are. Everything for us was.
They wouldn't know that if you told them, they wouldn't have known it.
We were trying to be individuals, set our mark on us. Everybody is trying to assimilate into a group thing. So listen, they get ready to decorate their house. They got to go on Pinterest to look at it. They get ready to do. Everybody feels like they have to be a part of whatever this imagery is. And I think that's why I've always loved just being me. I don't think being ordinary is just what I want it to be. And so I don't use social media for that. I just don't.
Yeah, and nobody can beat us at being who we are as an individual. So you're right. And I love that story. I love that we can, even when you and I are on social media, we know what we're projecting. It really is true. It's a true person that we're projecting, but there's so many who project only what they want the world to see. I don't come on social media unless my hair is done or my makeup is done. I don't come on social media. People have to understand that folk project what they want to project. So I want to go somewhere, my friend, because I know this. You are a grandmother of a beautiful, beautiful granddaughter. And I'm just wondering then, as my book is dedicated and written for the next generation, what conversations do you have with your granddaughter about what she posts on social media?
Yeah, it's really right now, believe it or not, it's somewhat of a challenge. She's 14, she's going to be 15. She's on something called TikTok.
Lord Jesus have mercy. I know it.
Quick on TikTok. And so she has a consciousness because of us. What I say to her is, I always think about posting things, even anything that I say. It's not just for now, but 20 years from now, will I be okay with what I say? I always tell her that words matter, they have power, and you have one time to have a brand. And when I close my eyes, I'll give you an example. I close my eyes and I think of Gregory Cutler. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, your brand has not changed very much from the way it was. Mm-hmm. Very clean cut, very articulate, super brilliant, but still godly, very mm-hmm. down to earth. I mean, I can go through your entire brand that has traveled with you. Okay. But what we do is, I always say to her, because imagery is everything for her. Everything. She's trying to assimilate, trying to make her understand her worth, and that it's not derived based on what people think about you on social media.
Yeah.
You have to try to find your own voice in this.
Oh, that's good. That's really good, Penny, because what life has taught both of us is that you have to be careful with what you post, because if you post something in the moment, that moment creates a ripple effect that will go with you for the rest of your life, whether you want it to or not. It's going to travel with you. And unfortunately, for some people, it travels in front of them and it makes a whole muddy mess. So when they try to go through life, they've created a nasty ripple effect just because of one indiscretion or something that they posted on social media. You don't have to put your whole life out there. You just don't.
Now that's such a good point, because so many people today are held hostage based on their past. And so how are you going to rewrite your past when you're contributing to it? I often say this.
Oh, Penny, say that again. Please say that again. How are you going to rewrite your past when you're contributing to it?
Absolutely. We were not created to go against ourselves. Life, that's not what God wants for us. We were never created to go against ourselves.
Right.
So I've gotten angry before and I've wanted to lash out. I mean, obviously I wanted to do that. But for me, I'll be honest with you. I look at my Facebook page, for example. That's my space. It's a space of positivity. If you get into a low grade kind of discussion with me, I will block you in a minute.
And I know you will.
People waiting. I'm not playing with you. And I tell you that. Don't come here on my page. Argue with me. This is not what this is about. I don't want to debate with you on this, because we need to do. Now, I know dialogue is a good thing. And people always do, I'm criticized a lot for that. They say, well, that's not right. No, this is my page.
It's my page. It's my house. It's my space. I often say, and some of the followers have heard me say, listen, I'm building a house here and your brick may not fit my foundation. So guess what? I get the chance to just reject your brick because it doesn't fit the foundation of the house that I'm trying to build. Get out of here. I want to ask you something though, Penny, while I have you here, my friend, as a public figure though, how because some people, they get to stalking folk. As a public figure, have you ever had people to stalk you? And if so, how did you handle that?
Oh yeah, I had that when I was on Family Court. Oh my gosh. When you go into the living rooms of people, just like you're doing now, on that scale, people feel like they have some kind of an affection for you.
Yeah.
And so I knew how to handle it, because being on the court, on the bench, you might have a defendant or somebody who would have a little bit more affection for you, or they want to lash out at you. And so I take any of that very, very seriously. I don't play around with it. Usually if I have something that's too much of a problem, I'll get law enforcement involved. Right now, it's okay. If there's a problem with somebody, we block them.
Yeah.
You know, I live behind gates and everything. I make most of the time I travel with security, even to this day. In fact, one of my executive security officers became the sheriff of DeKalb County. The first Black woman to do so was my mentee. So normally I'm not by myself, but no, I take it very seriously. That's why I don't play with people. See, I'm not a person that I play around with you. I don't flirt with you. You know, look, I'm a married woman. These men, I had to disengage Messenger. These men, bishops, church people, there's some low down men out here. Oh, you so attractive. Or you this and that. Now, I don't mind you saying how I might look. But if you play with me in the wrong way, I get you straight.
Yeah.
People know that you're like that, then you usually don't have to play around. Racist, if you post anything racist, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Nothing.
I will block you in a minute.
And I'll report you. So a word to the wise, I will report you.
Yes, I just don't want that kind of energy around me. So yes, I've had to deal with it, but I dealt with it with law enforcement and very, very swiftly. And knock on wood, I haven't had to deal with that in a long time. So God's been good.
God has been good. I want to, but I tell you what, my friend, these people they're loving you. Y'all, can you show some more hearts and thumbs up for my good friend? So when you said, I don't play with it, they were like, yeah, that's right. Me either, Judge Penny. I don't play with it either. But you can't afford to play with people because they'll take advantage. What is the old saying? Because we're both Southerners. You give them an inch, they'll take them out.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, people use this medium to really think that they're establishing real relationships. And they're not really understanding what this is.
Right.
This is an opportunity. First of all, Facebook makes a lot of money from this. Anytime anybody's offering you a free app or anything free, know that it's really not free. You're giving up some of your privacy for that. So we love this medium. We're getting to attach ourselves to people. But a lot of people, they've had con games run against them with this. And you really, when you're saying friend, you think of it as an acquaintance. And I think a lot of times people get hurt. And I used to be like this. I was so naive, thinking that people were my friends. And, you know, if I'm nice to them, then naturally they'll be nice to me. I had to learn that many times the people who don't like you, they become your frenemy because they want to keep close to you so they can see and know what you're doing. So because people are close to you, they don't mean that they're your friend.
That's right.
That means they're trying to keep an eye on you. And this can be very detrimental if you don't watch it, because the truth of the matter, although you and I are very authentic, I'm not going to get on here if I'm not at my best. And I'm just being honest. I'm not one of those people that pull out the phone because I want to just tell you how bad the world is. No, that's not what I'm using it for. I come in my best. Yeah. And so if you're thinking, wow, she's wonderful, or they got the most perfect marriage. And I'm so amazed at people with me and my husband. Now, look, I got a good thing going with my husband.
Yes, you do. By the fact, please tell the pastor I said hello.
I certainly will. But who in the hell thinks that every single day of a marriage is perfect? And so they'll sit, whether it's in the congregation or whether they're looking from the outside, and they're saying, oh, I wish I had this. That's why I don't ever want to be like anybody else. Because unless you walk a mile in somebody's shoes, you don't know what it takes to be Gregory. You don't know what it takes to be me. And so you have to see this for what it is, a wonderful opportunity to engage with other people about wonderful ideas. If you meet some friends along the way, so be it. You can be with friends, but see it for what it is.
And I think social media, and I'm going to go to the next lesson, but I also think, Penny, that social media has given this nomenclature to help misconstrue that, to say send a friend request. No, you're just connecting via social media. You're not building friends. I'm going to the next lesson. I'm going to go to the next lesson because you all know we could stay there all day in the producer.
You know, you're making a good point, because I'll put it to you like this. If they don't get so many likes on something, let's say you got a cute outfit on it, you post your outfit, and you say, that ought to get me about 50 likes, and they don't like it. Sometimes people are so jealous and envious that they won't even give you the satisfaction of saying it's nice, but they'll sit there and look at it. You can't go about that. Now, you know, Gregory.
Right.
I know how it goes, honey.
Right. And Penny, they expend all that unnecessary energy. And the truth of the matter, you have spent more energy thinking about what somebody thinks about you than the thought they have even thought about. They're not thinking about you.
That's good.
I'm going to the next lesson. So you all, let's we don't always get it right the first time. It's on my page.